Hi, it's 31 Nights slash Dreams of Horror because I keep changing the title, not being very consistent about that. Inconsistency is the scariest thing. Um, inconsistent naming conventions, truly horrifying.
I'm scared.
I'm Eric.
That's
And
why. That's why it's so hard to figure out which of the Hammer Dracula films comes next because they didn't number any of them. There's no consistent naming.
Judge Rowling's confused by Hammer Dracula naming conventions.
And the Frankenstein movies, really.
Yeah, our friends Alex and Morbid Coffee are also here hanging out.
Hi.
Hi, we're gonna play some Sweet Home tonight. Although I have to reboot my emulator because I turned my controller on after I booted the thing up, and so it doesn't recognize it.
But Eric, what is Sweet Home?
It's the name of a town like about an hour and a half south of here. It's like a suburb of Buffalo. No, nothing.
Sounds great.
It's pretty scary there, I guess.
Yeah?
Sweet Home is a Famicom game that came out in Japan only. That's why it's a Famicom game and not a Nintendo
how close is it
Entertainment
to
System
Chicago,
game.
Michigan?
It's probably about 7.5 hours. That many judge. All right. Oh, no, it's not working at all. Hang on, I gotta. So what's up with Sweet Home? It was translated in the early 2000s.
In 2000.
Okay. This was definitely one of the first games when I started doing emulation stuff that I checked out.
Yeah, this is one that for me it hadn't. It wasn't out yet when I started dicking around with emulation stuff.
I'm not going to change the names.
But
I guess I should
you
have changed them to our names.
Yeah, to our names. I mean, come on.
Sorry, it's too late now. An investigation team searches for Mamiya something, but it lies within the haunted Mamiya Manor. And that's
so a lot
honestly
of people talk about how this is like a lot like Resident. It's like it was an inspiration on Resident Evil, and
Right.
and it was in some ways, but there's no ghosts or anything. Jack.
Well,
Red
there are
says,
ghosts.
Hello.
There's no zombies, right? Aren't there
Right.
ghosts you can
well,
talk
there's all
to?
kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff like in this game, but I'm saying in Resident Evil, there's no
yeah.
supernatural element in Resident Evil.
Right. It's all science.
Jack Red says hello, and wow, you were doing Sweet Home. It's true, we are.
What the?
So this game
Wow.
was developed in concert with the film of the same name.
Right, which is what the box art I have is for like the laser disc version of the movie, which I've
Looks
never
like
seen
it's
the
for
movie.
video CD version.
Oh, it is,
actually.
yeah, CD video version. Toho video disc. Have you ever seen the movie?
I have not seen the movie. I've heard that it's fairly average, and my understanding is basically that no one would really remember it if there wasn't a semi-infamous like Famicom game.
Okay.
That was related to it. Like I don't think it's ever gotten an actual US release. I think there's like a fan sub on YouTube or something.
Okay.
Jack Red says, I really wish Sweet Home would be an unlockable within a Resident Evil game. Yes, but that would require a major publisher to do something called work where they'd have to go and translate a game they didn't translate.
Or just
a long
could
time
they just
ago.
use the fan translation?
The only company that I can think of that's really done that is
Also, remember we each
Didn't
have our
Sega-
own tools.
didn't Sega use the fan translation of Monster World 4 when they finally brought it to like Xbox Live and PSN?
Okay, this is the nurse. Man, I don't remember much of this game. I gotta be honest.
I have not
Remember,
played.
you need
much
the one.
of this
You
at
need the
all.
person with the vacuum to clean that up.
Right.
Also, you can only have 3 people in a party at a time, but you have 5 party members, so you're
Right,
controlling
so-
2 parties.
Right, and 2 go together and 3 go together. Jack Red said this is considered the best movie game on the console and also the best horror game. I don't mean there aren't a lot of horror games on the NES. There are and there aren't, I guess. But I would say that I haven't played a ton of this, but like Batman is a super good movie game on the NES. And
Yeah, Batman's pretty
I
good.
don't know.
but let's stick together. I want to use this vacuum cleaner again. So yeah, this game is it's like a weird hybrid between like Dragon Warrior first person combat and like an adventure game, right?
It's an RPG basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like Dragon
Dragon Quest.
Quest.
Yeah, but I mean Dragon Quest like had
But it
these
has
menus,
permadeath.
but you didn't like solve any puzzles in Dragon Quest.
Right.
You just
Right.
walked around and talked to people. Like this has like all these characters have different items that all like will take care of different things in the mansion.
Right.
I think you can find items that will let you do what they do. Also,
Yeah, if
something
they
we're
die,
traveling-
if they die,
Yeah.
but I think it's only if they die.
Call if you need to
Po-
use my vacuum. I will.
Poverty Game Night says Dr. Sparkle was just tweeting about the movie last night. I saw that he was watching it, but I didn't see any of his tweets about
Call
it. Dr.
if you need to
Sparkle's
use
the
my
guy
vacuum.
who does Crontendo. If anyone doesn't know.
Call if you need to use my vacuum. All right, they all have different.
Yeah. Jack Red says, to me, Resident Evil 0 plays the most like this game out of the entire series. That is not, you're not selling me on this game, by the way, because Resident Evil 0 is like maybe my least favorite Resident Evil.
A lot of
I mean-
item management going on in Resident
Yeah.
Evil 0.
I was gonna say you've been playing this game for like 10 minutes and it looks dog shit.
he hasn't left the first room.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it just looks like very clunky and awkward. Which I mean, it's a Nintendo.
It
game.
is. I mean, this game would actually be a lot better if there was a PC version of it where you could do all this stuff with a mouse, or if it just had an interface that wasn't designed to be used with a D-pad and 2 buttons. Even like on a modern controller where you had a bunch of different buttons that were assigned to do all these things, it would be a lot less cumbersome. If anything, this game is like kind of a little bit ahead of its time.
Yeah, that's what I hear from a lot of people, is that like it feels very, and even in the way that it sort of streamlines combat and stuff, like as far as RPGs are concerned, like
Waxy.
it's less clunky
I think
than...
Get that sword.
Yeah, you're traveling alone, homeboy. You don't want to do that. Jack Red says, I really hope they don't make a game based on all
Welcome
the
to my home.
live-action movies. Yeah, I mean... They made a game based on the Street Fighter movie, I guess, so it's always possible. But Resident Evil 7 seemed like it was absolutely going in the opposite direction of where the Resident Evil movies ended up, so I wouldn't be too worried about that.
But nothing. Maybe I wasn't close enough to the fresco.
well they did make a movie based off Resident Evil 7. It's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's
Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Texas
2.
Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Poverty Game Night says the sprite rotations always look funny to me. Yeah, that's the thing about this game that always weirds me out, is like when your character's walking up, it's just
Yeah.
their sprite.
Yeah.
Instead of like having a sprite of their back, it's just their sprite flipped upside down.
Yeah.
They're laying down. They're tired.
Yeah, they're all walking around like just like scooching along the ground.
They're crab walking.
How do I party up with people? Why am I not?
Isn't it the party?
Oh,
menu?
team. Here we go. There we go. That's the button. All right. So now I have nurse, vacuum cleaner, lady, and I guess I'll bring torch guy. I've given this game a shot on a few different occasions, but
Jack Red says, if you think about it, Dead Rising is sort of a spiritual successor to Resident Evil, since Keiji Inafune was involved, and there are a few Resident Evil references. I mean, I think
it's a fruit knife. Can I
Dead
pick that
Rising
knife up?
is-
Am I crazy?
Where is it?
it looks like you can. It definitely looks like you can pick that.
Yeah, I
knife
thought you
up.
could pick
Fruit
that knife up.
Maybe you can only pick it up to use on fruit. I think that Dead Rising is like a very different
Maybe
sort of
item?
experience than Resident Evil, generally speaking. So.
Try the
That's putting it lightly.
item option, maybe.
Now, I can give my items, but I thought I could pick that up. I don't know.
I'm gonna look up an FAQ and see like how
Okay.
you pick shit up.
I'll
off
go
the-
look around
off
a
the
little bit.
table.
Let's see if I can get some of my characters killed. Shouldn't be too difficult.
Permadeath, man. Permadeath. Be careful.
Locked. Who has the key? I don't have the person with the key.
The one you left in the starting room, I think, is the master of unlocking.
Was that Asuka? No.
And me?
No,
I
Emmy's the
think-
vacuum cleaner, I think. Oh no, it is Emmy. Okay, Asuka is the one with the vacuum cleaner.
The basics. Give me basics. Like a death, character-specific items, weapons.
There's a door opening animation,
Just like Resident
just
Evil.
like Resident Evil. This is some pretty good tense NES music, though.
During the course of the game, you'll find various weapons. There is no armor or other protective equipment, and of course, there are no shops or currency. Many weapons can be used by all characters, but some can only be used by particular people. If someone cannot equip a weapon and you try to pick it up, you won't be able to, and a message on screen will say, so-and-so can't. And if you try, and you have to try again with a different person. It doesn't actually say how to pick up... let's see. Party, select this, and you'll get a list of names, item...
Ah, it's a creepy doll.
If you want to pick up a new item, stand next to it, then select the item command from the menu. You will see a new screen with two options, use or move. Select move, and the cursor will go to the item screen of your team, and you can choose where to place the item.
Okay, do that one more time.
Stand next to the item, select the item command from the menu. You will see a new screen with two options, use or move. Select move, and the cursor will go to the item screen for your team, and then you can choose where to place the item. If you choose another item, the two will swap.
I think that's only for stuff you already have in your inventory, isn't it?
I mean, it says when you want to pick up a new item, stand next to it. That's how this sentence starts. Stand next to it and select the item command. Then
It says
choose move.
just it keeps telling me can't exchange.
Are you trying to put it in the slot where your vacuum or whatever is, though? Or are you putting
Try
it in
the
the spot?
Try the bottom slot.
Okay, I think that's for items or for weapons, maybe.
Yeah, the bottom slot is your weapon slot.
There we go. All right, I'll have
Now we got a fruit knife.
we're ready to fight evil dolls. Yeah, ultimately, like, this is the big problem with this game, is that the, took Waxy. I think it's supposed to be Wax Candle, but I've decided that's the name that she's given her, her knife, or her candle. Come on, Waxy. Can I use this fruit knife to cut this rope? Guess not.
Don't think so. I think it's just a weapon.
Is there a letter? Can you take that letter that's on the
I
table?
read it. It tells you you have to take pictures of the frescoes
Right.
in order to solve puzzles. Let's see what this one. A note.
Jack Red in the chat is saying some stuff about Dead Rising 4, but I haven't played Dead Rising 4, so I don't really
No.
have.
I'd heard
like,
that
a
one was
response
not
to
so
that.
great.
He said it felt incomplete, and that's why he's happy for the was it Frank's Big Package or something like that is the name of the new edition.
Yeah.
Try
And
using...
he can dress in cami drag, which is that's kind of fun.
There's he can be. I saw like a video where they were saying all the characters you can be, or outfits, and one of them is Ryu, and the guy called the Shoryuken a Saruken, and I was like, dude, come on,
Try
work for
using the lighter.
Capcom. I know
Yeah,
you're
using the lighter.
Canadian, but come on.
Written in blood, power of the heart overcomes evil.
Jack Red asked if we have played D2 for the Dreamcast. I have a copy of that. Has anybody else played D2?
Think
I'm
so?
aware it exists.
Wait, which Enemy Zero is the
That's-
one where you're in the
Enemy Zero is
vents
the one
all
on the
time,
spaceship.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
D2
D2 is the one that's
where you're
actually
in
like
the
a survival
Arctic.
horror game, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. But the combat is you're locked to one spot, and it's first person kind of shooting gallery type combat.
Okay.
And all the monsters are the Thing. They're plant creatures that are mutated people or something.
I think I played both of those, but I don't think I played very much of either.
Poverty Game Night says D2 is a weird one. Yeah, sure is. Sure enough.
Am I the baddest?
Sure enough.
Low down mofo in this whole town? Fuck that up.
Show enough. Yeah, you fucked that up. I'm
Wood.
surprised Alex isn't like really upset at you right now. In fact,
I'm just reading about D2. That's I'm busy.
I took the wood. If I take the wood, I can use it to build a bridge, right?
Yes.
Dun 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 dun. Oh no! It's a wisp. What is? I don't remember what prey does.
It's how you beat the final boss. Doesn't do anything in the game to that point. That's a reference to a game that I don't like.
which one?
Earthbound, dog.
Oh, okay.
Earthbound Dog?
Earthbound Dog, the sequel to Earthbound. Yeah.
It's
a
actually a
spin-off.
crossover
It's
between.
the story of Boney.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's
The
a crossover between
prequel
Ghost
or-
Dog and Earthbound.
Now that's a game I'd fucking play.
Yeah,
You're
that's
the
a
man
game I'd
now,
play.
Ness.
Cakes are like the healing items. That's all I got.
Good enough.
Yeah, for more excellent references like these, I don't know.
Watch this stream more often.
Yeah, come back.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, this encounter rate.
Does it
So
feel like
is Evil Within 2 getting good reviews? Because I feel like a lot of people told me Evil Within 1 wasn't all that good.
Evil Within
A lot of
1
people
wasn't
like-
all that good.
a lot of people seem to like 2?
Yeah, I've heard mostly good things about 2. Which
Yeah,
is
same.
nice. But I paid full price for 1, and that's not going to happen again. So this feels dangerous. Better team up for safety.
Jack Red
guy.
says he has a question for me, unless we aren't allowed to. You're allowed to ask me a question,
No.
Jack. I don't.
You don't ask.
I
good
can't guarantee
questions.
I'll have an answer, but you can ask it.
Be brave. Oh no! Your tools, weapons, fire, bugs, light, bats. Oh no, did I lose all my stuff? I didn't. I don't know what that guy does. I don't know what that guy is doing.
So Jack Red's question is Splatterhouse episode. I assume that's a question about an episode of same name, different game. I mean, yes, eventually.
You did Splatterhouse
But-
at one point, didn't you?
I didn't. I have not
Oh.
done Splatterhouse.
I know we talked
yeah,
a lot
I mean,
about
eventually-
Splatterhouse on an episode of. Maybe was that just when the new Splatterhouse came out? Maybe when that.
When the
3D
new
one?
Splatterhouse came out, we talked a lot about it on the stick.
Oh no! How do I survive this trap? Oh shit! I was too slow.
I have no idea. And thank you, Jack. I'm glad you liked the Friday the 13th episode.
Just pray.
The third fresco upstairs.
Yeah, I was gonna look up some more stuff about this game actually. See what I can find out.
Just
Is there a
bronze.
Hardcore Gaming 101 article about it? I bet there is.
Dun, 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 dun. I think we've seen pretty much everything that Hess has to offer, aside from just playing it more. But this game
I've
is like
heard-
this game is genuinely pretty good. Like it's something that I would like to see an updated version of.
Play Resident Evil, man.
This is not anything like playing Resident Evil.
There's not a Hardcore Gaming 101 article about this game. That is kind of surprising.
Man, these worms are fucking me up.
I wonder if there's any.
I'm gonna vacuum these worms.
vacuum those worms the fuck up.
I mean, it would work.
Didn't work.
What?
God damn it! This thing fucking auto completed Sweet Home Alabama.
That almost happened to me twice.
Which if you're playing along at home, fuck that song.
Locked.
Apparently, there's a place near where I live called the Sweet Home Cafe, and a place called Sweet Home Furniture.
All right, come
All
on.
the furniture has monsters possessing it. It's a really shitty.
Help! Oh no! How do I help him?
There.
You can't help. Emmy, help quick. How do I help?
Dude, I wasn't doing a walkthrough. You gotta give me a second to find out. Enemies.
Oh, you have to use the
hints,
team
tips.
button. Use the team thing. They team up.
Vacuum them up.
Suck them back
Yeah.
up onto the side.
There's a 2015 Spanish film called. Is it a Spanish film? Or yeah, it is a Spanish film called Sweet Home, which appears to be not related at all.
Oh shit. I switched to the wrong team and then got into a battle with my crappy team. I'll be honest, most creepy things that are supposed to be creepy don't really get to me that much, but creepy living dolls kind of fuck me up a little bit.
Apparently, you should see not the first Annabelle movie, but the second one, because that one is like a lot creepier.
Oh, I don't want to see that. Is that about a creepy doll?
Oh, the guy who directed Sweet Home is also the guy who directed the original Japanese version of Pulse.
Okay. I don't know what that is, I don't think.
It's one of those Japanese, some facet of modern technology is going to kill us all horror movies. You know, like was very popular there for a while and probably still is. I don't know. Let's see here.
Apparently, Prey is like magic.
Okay. I'll
You
try
use
that.
up Prey points in battle when you select to Prey and make a stronger. Okay. Thank you, FAQ.
He also made a movie called The Cure, which I think is like a semi-well-known like Japanese horror film.
Band from the 80s.
Yes.
They have a few songs.
I'm familiar with them. A frustrated detective deals with the case of several gruesome murders committed by people who
Avoid
have no
the
recollection
shadows.
of what they've done.
I was avoiding the shadows and I still got grabbed. Oh man, more worms. I prayed and used 5 prey points.
There you go. It's apparently very strong.
Oh yeah, 13. Wow, that fucked those worms up.
See?
Worms hate it. Hate the penitent people.
Who would have thought worms would be weak to religion?
Oh, I have a spear. An oak spear. Nothing. Oh, that's a door there, I think. Yeah.
The oak spear is to kill the vampires that you find later.
Is that for real, or is that just a Castlevania joke?
That's just, well, it was just a vampire joke in general. But the game and movie were simultaneously released, so it is not clear if the movie is based on the game or vice versa. I think that's not a great item of trivia IMDb, because I would say that it indicates that they were probably developed in tandem.
From what I understand, the guy that was like the producer for the game was given free will to do whatever he wanted. Like he was just given a license to Sweet Home and characters and everything, and then they were just like go nuts.
Well,
So
it was the one and only Takuro Fujiwara, who is awesome. If you're not familiar with his work, you should be more familiar with his work, because he did a
Uh-oh.
lot of great fucking games, including Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts.
You can find a spare camera and key in other rooms. Find them.
Yeah, apparently. So I'm looking for the citation on this, but let's see. He was director of the film. Kiyoshi Kurosawa told him not to worry if the game didn't follow the movie exactly. For the development of Sweet Home, Fujiwara was able to use the movie as a reference, getting to see the movie and take a tour of the film studio and use whatever essence he thought would work behind the game.
Worms!
So that tells me
Just throw an exploding sheep at these worms. It's the most effective way to kill them.
Man, it sounds legit to me.
Yeah, I prayed and one-shotted them motherfuckers.
But this sounds to me like,
Ah. What is this? Nothing. That's
like,
definitely not nothing.
that makes it clear to me that the game was... that the movie was made first and the game came after. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think just that guy who put that on IMDb didn't know.
Right.
But put something anyway.
So there's an interview, a translated interview from, let's see, where did this originally come from?
This game is super long.
That's what I've heard.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
like
mean,
reading.
it's,
I'm like
it's-
scrolling through the FAQ.
It's like a full-length RPG.
Yeah.
This is an interview from Continue, a Japanese gaming magazine from a 2003 issue, and this is a translated interview with Takuro Fujiwara, who again is super awesome. Let's see. Sweet Home caused me a ton of trouble. Up till then, I'd taken a lot of influence from arcade games. When I planned out original titles, I wasn't focused on dealing with consumer limitations, but rather getting rid of monetary and temporal roadblocks. Then talk began about doing a game based on a movie, and I figured I could make use of my ideas.
Oh man,
the
that
man
poison
who
effect is
directed
rough.
the man who directed the film version of Sweet Home, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, told me not to worry if the game didn't follow the movie exactly. I figured I could pull it off if that was the case.
Oh no, I think I used the potion on the wrong person. Shit. Which is the healer?
The potion apparently cures everybody. If you use
Oh,
the potion.
Okay, I didn't want to use the potion then. I think I need to use the med kit, actually. I think I screwed up.
Right, the med kit cures the curses if you were cursed.
I was poisoned.
Or poisoned. Yeah, the med kit just like restores your health and your whatever. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff happening in the chat that I did not catch, so.
Nick said that Sweet Home Alabama is pretty, but he meant awful, and he's right.
Yeah, Nick is right about that.
Shit.
Jack Red wants to know if any of us like horror anime, and I would say like, nah. I like the two
No.
Vampire Hunter D movies. I like, if that counts.
I don't think I've ever seen a horror anime. Maybe I saw
I
Vampire
guess
Hunter
like-
D. I
Blue,
might have
like does
seen
Perfect
that.
Blue count as a horror?
I don't know
Hellsing
what that
was
is.
like alright.
Oh yeah,
I
I heard.
remember at one point, like, he was just like a pile of blood with a face on it, and I was like, cool. That's about all I remember from Hellsing. And there was like a girl in it.
Sure.
It's a really
There's
long
girl
time
in
ago.
an anime? I'm
Yeah.
shocked. I can't believe it.
Hey, guess what? She liked the male main character. What a shock.
No.
And he
The
treated
juice you
her
say.
poorly.
Oh, were there like copious amounts of panty shots that had no real reason to be there?
I don't think
Right,
so.
then.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't
Probably.
remember.
Let's just say
Probably.
yes. 'cause
Yeah.
it's anime.
I think there was a dude who looked like Dalsum, but don't quote me on that.
Sure, why not? Poverty Game Night says he really liked Cure. So there you go. That movie. I thought I'd heard good things about that movie. And Jack
I'm
Red
glad
says
somebody
it
was
sounds
here to
like
talk about
you-
anime that's not me, because fuck if I know anything about anime.
I don't, dude. At this point, I don't know. Does Death Note count as a horror anime? If that counts, I like Death Note.
I don't know what
I think
kind
that
is.
In
counts.
fact,
Like,
Death
it's
Note
like-
was like the
yeah.
last anime I really watched and like enjoyed. Like the last anime series that I was like, this is very good. Oh, sorry, One Punch Man. One Punch Man is not a horror anime, but it is
One
great.
Punch Man's very good.
One Punch Man is fucking fantastic.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's kind.
you
It's
can't
kind
take
of.
credit
Actually,
for that
you know what?
copy.
I
Someone
take
else
that
got me
back.
into
Hold,
One
hold
Punch
up, hold
Man.
up, hold up. Guess what? I saw an anime just about 2 months ago. Was the Castlevania one on Netflix?
Oh yeah, that's a horror anime.
Yeah, that's
Is that
actually
an anime though. That
yeah,
was
it's,
yeah,
like
well-
an Amer-
it's an American-made thing that looks like American
I
anime.
mean, if we're gonna go with that, I might as well say my favorite.
But that was pretty good. I genuinely enjoyed it. I didn't think
I
it
did
wasn't
like
like it was like a solid B. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
great,
also
but
weird that they made it a series. Like, why not just make it like an 80-minute movie? Because that's basically what it was. Like, I
yeah,
don't care.
There's-
it was broken
there's
into 3
more-
epissodes.
I think there's more to come.
Coming.
Yeah.
There's some. It's
So
gonna
they could
be
have
like.
made it into. They could have made it into different movies. Like they could have said, like, here's
Yeah.
the first movie, and the next movie will be out next year or whatever. Instead
Which
of,
is
like-
essentially what they did, but yeah, you're
Right.
right. Weird, yeah.
I think I actually think that there might be just like it's easier to get 4 20-minute episodes made on
That's what
Netflix
you
than
did
it
there.
is to get.
420.
Well,
Is
they're
that a
always on
Michigan
time.
report from Hell joke?
Poverty Game Night says there are a couple of Kazuo Umezu stories that have been adapted to anime. I don't know who that is, so
Is that the guy that made the one about the weird people-shaped holes in the mountain?
No, I forget that guy's name, but it's not that.
That's the only like manga horror thing I know too. My horror knowledge is mostly limited to really bad like 80s and 90s stuff that was produced in America. Look, if you want to have a long conversation about Larry Cohen, we can do that. But if we're going to
Yes,
talk about
absolutely.
anime stuff, then I'm not going to be much help. I'm sorry to
Yeah,
say.
just looking over like the list of the stuff that this guy has done, like, oh, he did Ultraman, so I know that. But like, I don't know
Oh,
Yeah,
Junji
I'm not
Ito is the
familiar
guy
with
who
it.
did
Junji Ito, yeah, I know who that
the
is.
yeah. That's the one with the holes in the mountain, enigma of whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was pretty creepy.
yeah, that's really creepy.
What is that? I'm not familiar with that.
It's like a manga where there's just like
Welcome.
whole. I think there's like an earthquake if I remember right, and then just like on the mountainside, like holes start appearing, and then they're like shaped like people, and people just kind of start going crazy and trying to like fit through the holes, and then they just kind of disappear. And then some guy just goes to check it out, and like shit happens, and it's creepy.
Look out!
You can.
Yeah. Poverty Game Night says you're thinking of Junji Ito. Umezu is basically the 60s through 80s version of him.
I ducked under the chair. I made it. Where did that chair come from? What happened? That was weird.
Apparently, like
a
I was
ghost
like,
threw it at you, dude.
when I was like scrolling through the FAQ, apparently shit just randomly happens to you in this
Okay.
game. Like stuff just happens sometimes when you're walking around. So you gotta
Random battles and
watch
random
out.
traps.
You left a knife. I mean,
I
like,
swatched.
time
I
delay.
swipped. I switched the.
Oh,
that's the
okay.
fruit. That's the fruit knife. I swapped that for the other.
All
thing.
right, my bad.
Yeah.
Poverty Game Night says he thinks there is going to be an anime series that is adapting Junji Ito short stories.
Okay.
So
That
if you
those
wanna-
like 2 or 3 of those that I read were all pretty good.
there you go.
I don't know. Anything that's actually supposed to be scary doesn't really appeal to me that much.
Because you don't like being scared, or because
Because it just doesn't really work on me for the most part. Like when I was a kid, like when I say like the scary doll stuff's like screwed with me, but that was mostly when I was a kid. I did watch. So there's a podcast that I used to listen to called Lore, which was like it kind of assumed the position that certain like myths were real, and then it would sort of like tell you about like whatever. Like there was an episode on the Jersey Devil, and there was an episode on Typhoid Mary. But it would like
Typhoid Mary was real.
well,
Yeah,
that's
Typhoid Mary.
that's the point of the podcast is that he would bring up a myth and then he would give like real world like stories of how like what's the science behind the myth, like what's the inspiration for these myths. That was like the whole point of the podcast, and then they turned it into a TV show that's only available on the Amazon streaming service, I think.
Oh, that's what that is. I've
Yeah.
seen ads for that.
I've been
that's like,
watching.
Lore, only
I
on
watched.
Amazon.
It's like
I'm
6 episodes, and they're like 30 to 45 minutes long. I don't know if they're like not super great, but I think I'm about to lose one of my characters here. Yeah,
Oh, no.
That's
You
alright.
get a pretty graphic death scene when it. I know that.
yeah.
Those
That's what
characters,
I'm trying for here. Man, this zombie is fucking me up.
yeah. These zombies are even tougher than the ones in fucking Long Box Resident Evil, man.
I don't have any.
You gotta
prey
pray.
points. Had no effect.
Oh, really? Shit.
Try
Just
this
stab the
candle.
motherfucker.
It's not working. What if I recall? I don't think that's gonna help me. Try running. Oh no! Oscar died. Somebody's frozen, somebody's dead. I guess I'll go back and get my other teammates and...
I like that it looks like she
But-
got like splatted against the wall like a Looney Tune and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
slides.
Anyway,
slides down.
anyway, what I was trying to get at with the lore thing is that it kind of reminds me of like it's almost like a PBS kind of thing. Like there's acting, but it's kind of low budget and weird.
Like Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, maybe
it's
something
not
like
a
that
PBS
kind
thing,
of. Yeah,
Like they
it's-
do reenactments.
Yes,
you
they
mean, but
do
it's shitty?
reenactments of the
Okay.
stories that he's talking about, but they're kind of shitty, and like I enjoyed how sort of shitty they were.
Okay.
It's a you'll learn a couple things in the 30 minutes or so, and you'll be entertained, but you don't have to think too hard about it. So I liked it. It's not great. It's not gonna blow your mind, but as far as a podcast that's been adapted to a low budget TV show, it's pretty good.
All right. I will check it
So
out.
there's a horror thing that I've done recently.
I've been watching 100 Years of Horror on Amazon, which is a TV show from 1997-ish, hosted by Christopher Lee. That's just like a history of horror film, and it's pretty fun. And it's, I mean, mostly like It's fun because it's a lot of clips of old like Universal horror movies, at least so far, and like Hammer horror movies, and then like Christopher Lee is the host, which is just like that makes it extra great. So
That guy's frozen. That guy's dead.
yesterday night, Kurt and I went to see Madman, which is an extremely boilerplate like 80s kids at camp slasher movie.
Okay.
It gets
Sounds
points for
great.
actually taking place in the fall though instead of the summer. So
Go
it's
away.
it's an
This is not
autumn
your place.
camp,
Whoa.
I guess. But there's a fantastic sequence where a girl, like the car won't start, which like they beat that fucking trope to death in this movie. The car never starts, so she goes to like
I
look,
could use that
she opens
tonic,
the
but I'm
hood.
not going to take it so I can get everybody killed, and then we'll call it a night.
Okay.
Damn.
So this girl she opens the hood of the car to like find out why it won't start, and the slasher maniac jumps on the hood of the car and decapitates her.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say he like jumped out of engine.
Nope.
Jumped out.
He jumps onto the hood and slams it down on her neck and cuts her head off
Oh, I get
in
it.
the
Okay.
in the
That's
engine
pretty good.
compartment.
Okay, that's
pretty
pretty good.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, there's this amazing hot tub scene where like the two counselors are gonna bone in the hot tub, and there's like
as you do.
right as you do. There's this terrible song, and it's like I was telling Kurt afterwards, I was like, I think that the guy was like, we paid for the rights to this fucking song, and so we are going to use every note of this motherfucker. Because what should take 30 seconds takes about 3 minutes.
Is it like that really awesome scene with the Driller Killer and Slumber Party Massacre 2?
Well, they don't sing. He doesn't sing.
Oh, it's
He
just a
doesn't
song
sing
that
Let's
plays?
Buzz. It's
Okay.
just a song that plays, right? That scene is amazing. Do not
That scene,
fucking disrespect
that scene
the
is
Driller
fucking
Killer
amazing.
singing
I'm
Let's
not.
Buzz.
That's what I'm saying. Or like the scene in what the hell Hard Rock Zombies had. It seems like
Yeah,
that.
it
where they had
reminded
to
me
use
a
the whole
lot
song.
of like if my hand touches your hand, does that mean we're in love? Like it was that level of songwriting. And
I had just enough time had passed. I had blocked that out. You fuckers.
so they get undressed, but they don't undress each other. Like they just are undressing themselves in front of each other, which is the most awkward thing. And then they're putting their clothes in one pile, but they're not like folding them. They're just like depositing their clothes together in a singular pile. And then they get in the hot tub and they like are sort of almost swimming around in the hot tub. Like they're not actually like making out or like boning. And this terrible song is playing and it's amazing.
Poverty Game Night
It's
says,
amazing.
I've been watching a bunch of horror movies. Watch Prince of Darkness for the first time.
The devil is a tube of radioactive goo.
Prince of Darkness is pretty fun.
Yeah, Prince of Darkness is I mean, John Carpenter, is, love him or hate him, I guess. I love him for the most part, except for stuff like
Only bad
Cuban
people hate him.
Mars and Escape from LA. But
Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna dignify that.
But so we watched Madman, and that movie was it was fine. The most effective part is actually it opens with this guy telling a campfire story that explains that, which is like again like the old trope of like it's in The Burning, it's in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Kazuya died in a big way.
We're like damn, Kazuo,
Oh, wow.
you're
Yeah.
fucked.
That's game over.
Is that person just naked on the ground there? I kind of looked.
Yeah, there's a
the-
butt.
there's
That's a butt. Wow.
That's Sweet Home. I got
That is
killed.
Sweet
I think you need to
Home.
grind a little bit
Sweet
in the
Home.
earlier
I think
parts
you-
and level up before you can
yeah.
move on. I think I may have
Seems
tried to
that way.
proceed a little too fast, but I got to see the death animations, and that's what Sweet Home is. It's a weird hybrid of an RPG and an adventure game, and it's pretty cool. But like I said, the interface is quite cumbersome. Like even for me, going back to like OG Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior is just unthinkable because of how bad the menus are. Give me context, like anything that exists before context sensitive buttons kind of blows.
Right. It's one of those things like even like Maniac Mansion on the NES, like
Yeah.
fucking just make it the A button. Like fucking like I do not need 17 commands.
So
Just
how
let me
was
interact with the thing.
how was Brain Damage, Joe? Since we're doing,
I was gonna say the second movie was Brain Damage,
Yeah.
and man, Kurt had not seen it. Also,
that movie
the
is
American Genre Film
that movie has a
Archive-
couple of scenes in it that are fucked up.
the American Genre Film Archive has restored that film, and it looks fantastic. And I have quite a soft spot for Frank Henenlotter, so I loved it. So apparently, the earlier cuts of this movie on home video did not include the death fellatio,
What?
but we got the full death fellatio in stunning color.
What do you mean?
Okay,
Define what
so
you mean.
here's-
I have not seen this.
Here's the premise. This little creature lives in this apartment building, and it lives with these two old people, and it leaves them and goes to this young dude who lives down the hall. And the deal is that once it's sort of bonded to you, it puts a hole, it like drills a hole in the back of your neck where it can inject this juice that it produces that is like a euphoric drug. It's like an acid trip,
Yeah.
kind of. It's like acid combined with heroin. Right?
Cool.
Like if you try to get off of it, you go through like terrible withdrawals, but like you're like tripping when you're on it. And but the way that the creature like sort of survives is by eating brains, and the old people had been feeding it like calf's brains, and so that's why he got sick of that, and that's why he goes down the hall to like hang out with Brian, because Brian's gonna like, you know, he'll be able to get human brains at least for a little while. So but when he's on the when the thing puts the juice on him, also the thing is like a little puppet, and it's voiced by John Zachary, who was like the original sort of horror host. Yeah, and he's got a really smooth voice. Like the first time it talks, like Kurt was like, I had no idea what this movie was about. I'd never seen it or really knew much about it. And so the first like the thing like pops up and it's like, "Hi, Brian."
Mhm.
Like he's like, what is going on in this movie? So the death fellatio scene is where Brian goes to a punk club and picks up this girl, and then she like goes to give him a blowjob, and when she unzips his pants, the monster jumps out and like forces itself in her mouth and then like eats her brain, like sucks her brain out her mouth.
Yep.
While she's like performing a
Okay.
blowjob on the monster.
Got it.
It's a classic.
And it goes on for a really like it goes on
Uncomfortably long.
yeah.
That's really good.
Okay, well,
And how was the remaster of Suspiria?
So
Did it look really nice, and was it really boring?
it's not. I don't get the boring thing.
It's
I
a
just
boring
like I was
movie.
telling Kurt that after watching it last night. I hadn't watched it in like 10 years, and then we watched it last night, and I was like, I still don't think this movie is boring, and I don't get why people think it's boring. But
'Cause
I also like House of the
boring.
Devil a lot, which a lot of people have said is also boring.
I don't think a
and
lot of
fucking
people have
love
said
it,
that, but I've
so-
definitely said that because it's also super fucking boring.
But
At least Suspiria
Suspiria's
looks
the-
cool though.
Right, so that's what I was gonna say. For me, Suspiria, like even if you think the plot is boring, it's such a fucking amazing looking movie.
I mean, there's barely any plot.
that just like looking at it,
It does, it looks
is-
amazing.
Like and yeah, the restoration that Synapse Films did, like it just looks so gorgeous. It's just, I mean, those colors, you know, pop in the way that Argento probably always wanted them to pop, but probably that they haven't, since there were pristine 35mm prints like in existence. Because the last time I watched this movie was on a DVD, like a circa 2006 DVD release, and like the color palette is very muted in that DVD release and whatever transfer they did. And like now in this 4K restoration, it is so fucking bright and so impressive looking. And like when that chick goes through the stained glass skylight at the beginning and stuff, like just every like it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous film. So are you playing Castlevania now?
I don't know what
or
you're
is
talking about.
So
Anyway.
yeah. So yeah, that's all three of those films were fun to varying degrees. But I think Suspiria is the best of them, and I really like. I mean, I am a sucker for like tongue-in-cheek splatterpunk, super gory, you know, stuff like that. So I like Brain Damage a lot. I could see where some people wouldn't.
Some people would be very uncomfortable watching that movie. So
Yeah,
I mean, it like The Stuff. It is a great '80s film about drug addiction that only very barely has anything to do with the thing that it's actually talking about.
right. I mean, it's more on the nose even than The Stuff.
Oh
though.
yeah, Well, I don't know. I mean, the stuff is like white things that come out of people's nose and makes them crazy. So
Yeah,
This stuff was pretty on the nose. I mean, I haven't seen this other movie, so
it's really on the nose.
it's
Yeah.
very, it's good. It's a very good. If you've seen this stuff or Phantasm or whatever, other anything else by Larry Cohen or
Who did the Phantasm was
an Albert Pune
Don
movie,
Coscarelli? Don
yeah,
Coscarelli?
Don Coscarelli, yeah.
Dude, I just heard that they're putting out like a restored Blu-ray of Cyborg, which is Albert Pune's,
Yeah.
absolute magnum opus.
Yes,
if you
the
ask
piano.
me.
I have. If I was going to get back into the podcast game, the first thing I would do is make a podcast called like "Exploring the Pianoverse," and which is a great pun and also a great concept for a podcast because that dude put out like 50 movies that all have weird. They're all like high concept, low budget.
Did he do Robot
nonsense.
Jocks or Robot Wars or one?
He did Dollman versus
Both of
Demonic
them.
Toys. I know that.
Oh, that was a Pune joint. Okay.
Yeah. He didn't do either of the, or maybe he did the Dollman movies, but not the Demonic Toys ones. But he did do the crossover.
But then he did the crossover.
Yeah, which is
Albert Pune is an award-winning American filmmaker.
which awards?
all of the Oscars.
Shut up,
I think
Alex.
all of the Oscars. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
Whichever ones that you
are you
care to
saying
mention.
that you think the director of Kickboxer 4 is not an award-winning director?
But I don't think he
Alex?
didn't do any of the other kickboxing
No, I'm
movies,
saying the
right?
director of Brain Smasher: A Love Story is not.
I haven't seen that one.
Award-winning director.
I have not seen that one.
I don't know anything about it except for the name.
Interstellar, Civil War, Shadows of the Empire, is it all related to...
He did that. I mean, so like the most famous
No.
movie he's done is probably that really bad. Oh shit! Not he did one of those really bad like early superhero movies.
Captain America.
Yes, Captain America.
Yeah.
That's probably the movie that he's most famous for. Anyway, I should stop playing Castlevania.
He was going to do a He-Man sequel, but Canon Films went out of business. So, yeah, he's got a lot of movies to his name, and his next film is the untitled Albert Pune film, which he is attached to direct. Believe it or not.
All right, we should end this now.
Bullet
Probably a good
Face.
idea.
That's a hell of a movie name.
Yeah, right.
You know what? This game has the best first stage music of any video game that's ever existed.
Hang
Albert
on.
Game Night wants to know what awards did he win for Heat Seeker.
Although I'm really
Oh.
pissed off that I accidentally threw my water.
Now I'm
away.
gonna click on it and find out. A kickboxing champion is forced to fight cyborgs in a tournament when a company kidnaps his fiance.
So you guys can't tell me that wouldn't be a great idea for a watch podcast.
Oh yeah. Let's see. I don't see that. I'm afraid I don't think any awards were won.
Not for Dollman
no.
versus not even Dollman. I thought that won the Academy Award for Best Film that year.
I also don't see that he did Dollman versus Demonic Toys. He did Dollman.
Did he just
He did
I thought
Dollman.
He did Dollman and Demonic Toys too.
No. Just Dollman. Sorry. A hard-boiled intergalactic policeman lands on Earth where he is only 12 inches tall.
Oh no! Oh wow!
That's pretty good.
Dollman versus Demonic
It's a
Toys.
Charles Band joint.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, that you probably. And in fact, Dollman versus Demonic Toys was directed by Charles
I
Band.
know.
So
I'm sorry. Anyway, well, the Dollman films are also,
anything with Tim Thomerson, really.
that first Transfers movie is all right.
Brick Bardo? That's a character name?
Yeah, that's Dollman. I'm pretty sure, right?
It is Dollman. I was not familiar.
Well, so the thing with Dollman is that he's not a doll that came to life. He's an alien
he's-
from a planet that's really small, and
It's like that
so
one
he
Twilight
comes.
Zone episode.
He
Not like
comes
with none
to
of the atmosphere or commentary.
You've
or-
never even seen Dollman. You don't know what kind of atmosphere it has. So fuck
How do
you,
know
first of
I
all.
haven't seen- How do you know I haven't seen Dollman?
You haven't seen Dollman.
What makes you think I haven't seen?
Because you don't have the card that would put you in the club of
You
people
don't
that have
have
seen all the
the
Dollman
gun.
films.
Let me tell you, I don't remember if I've seen Dollman or Dollman versus Demonic Toys because who the fuck could remember something like that at this point?
You'd see. I know you haven't seen it because if you'd seen it, then you would fucking know.
I feel like you would probably remember that. Like,
Yeah. You don't accidentally see Dollman versus Demonic Toys, all right?
Oh, dude, if you have cable in the late '90s, you sure as fuck do accidentally see Dollman.
I don't
versus
think so.
Demonic
I don't.
Toys.
I would be very surprised if that was ever in any kind of like those movies. Like are
Isn't
below.
that how Charles Band made all his money by like selling his movies to Cinemax at like a bargain basement fucking price to be aired at like 2 in the morning? Like that's
Maybe it's possible. I don't think so
Fuck,
though.
man.
Anyway, Dollman, he's an alien. He's not a doll.
I just want you to know, in Japan, it's called micro.
All right. Well, Castlevania 3 is great. What was I playing? Oh, Sweet Home. Sweet Home is a really cool game.
man. I
I
really
like it a
thought
whole
that
bunch.
Albert
Oh shit! I jumped way too soon.
I really thought that Robot Jocks was an Albert Pion joint, but apparently not.
Man, our Albert Pion fucking knowledge is
Oh, because
Not what
Robot
it
Jocks
should
was a
be.
Stuart Gordon joint. Obviously, that's
Okay.
fucking. That is. I am shamed. I shame myself
that's even worse than mine.
for not knowing that.
At least the thing that I mentioned was a crossover between something he actually had made.
Yeah, it just seemed like the kind of thing he would have made. But
Anyway, so yeah, that's Sweet Home, which definitely the game that I'm playing right now. Sweet Home's cool, and Castlevania 3 is one of the 5 best Nintendo Entertainment System games ever made.
that's
Fuck Mike.
probably
Peace.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's probably true.
All right.
Just to be clear, Poverty Game Night says that Heatseeker is literally Kickboxer with cyborgs. So, in case you're
Sure,
curious.
I believe that. I haven't seen that one.
Well, we'll have to start our Albert Pion podcast, and then we'll get to it eventually.
How many movies has he made?
Probably more than should be
It's like-
allowed.
it's
He has
close to-
52 credits as a director,
Okay.
but 4 of them are not out yet, so
Yeah.
48.
I would say so. I think the Sword and the Sorcerer is one that MST3K did,
Yes.
and then
We did that.
Did we do
No,
that?
I don't.
No, we did do
Yeah.
that. Yes, we did do that.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
we
the one.
did.
Was like one of the 2 episodes I wasn't on.
Yes, we did do that. That's right.
I was like, "There's no way I watched that shitty ass
That
movie
was
for no reason."
that was how we talked about. That's how we got into talking about Albert Pion, which I think is
Yeah.
how you're actually supposed to say his name.
Oh, I thought it was Pion.
Yeah, I used to say it Pion too, but I think it's Pion. Anyway, dude's a legend. Look at all those movies he's made. I don't know what's happening. Good night. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bum, 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 bum. I just want to play Castlevania.